Hello, Senior One. How are you? I hope all of you are fine. We are going to start our biology lesson for this term. In this term, we are going to discuss many different topics. Okay, let's start with our first topic. We are going to study the first chapter. We are going to talk about the chemical basis of life, the chemical structure of the living organism's body. What are our bodies formed of? Okay, okay, let's start. We know as any living organism its body must consist of group of systems. Let's imagine our body as a big circle, and this big circle formed of group of different systems, digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, and so on, group of systems. Okay, each system is formed of group of organs, different organs. Let's take, for example, the digestive system. The digestive system organs forming the digestive systems are a stomach, a small intestine, large intestine, and so on. Each organ is formed of group of tissues, and these tissues are formed of group of cells. Okay, these cells have cellular organelles, and inside the cellular organelles there are molecules, cellular organs formed of different molecules. Okay, and these molecules formed of atoms. Okay, okay. We are going to deal with the cells in our sessions. Okay, so group of cells, when we say vice versa, group of cells can form group of tissues, and group of tissues can form organs, and organs can form organ system, and the system can form the organism body. This is for human beings, animals, and also for plants. The group of cells of the plants will form group of tissues, and the tissues will form group of organs, example, the leaves, the stems, and so on. And this organ will form an organ system, okay? And this system will form the whole organism, which is the plant, okay? So cells of living organisms consist of cells. The cells of the living organism consist of molecules. These molecules are either organic molecules or inorganic molecules, either organic or inorganic molecules. The organic molecules are large molecules. The organic molecules are large molecules, okay, where they are four types: carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. They are so big molecules, so they mainly contain hydrogen and carbon atoms, while the inorganic molecules are not large molecules, they are small molecules, and we need them. Of course, our body, our living organism body require these inorganic molecules in addition to the organic molecules. Example of the inorganic molecules like calcium, sodium, and so on, water, and so on. Okay, so the organic molecules are called biological macromolecules. Why I say biological macromolecules? We are talking about biology, something alive. So I have to insert biological macromolecules. I insert this word biology to the macromolecules to be biological macromolecules. Okay, and they may contain oxygen and nitrogen, phosphorus, and so on, but they mainly contain carbon and hydrogen atoms. Okay, okay. Where inorganic molecules is not not it's not a must for the inorganic molecule to have a carbon and hydrogen, but it may have carbon or hydrogen. Therefore, example, carbon dioxide, okay, water, but they are not they are not an organic molecule. They are not large, and they are not biological macro. Okay, the biological macromolecules are huge molecules, as we said before. Okay, of course, anything huge is formed of smaller parts. أكيد أي building is formed of a starting. We start to build any building with small bricks مثلا. Okay, so any huge thing is formed of smaller particles, okay, building units of it. This biological macromolecules will be named as polymers, okay, while their building units اللي هم the smaller units will named as monomers. So what is the meaning of monomers? Monomers are the smallest building unit of the polymers, okay, where monomers bind together forming the polymers by a polymerization process. Okay, so what's the meaning of polymerization process? It is a process by which المونومرز نعكس بقى monomers bind together to form the polymers. Okay, polymerization process, monomers combine together to form polymers. What are the polymers? They are the biological macromolecules formed by combination of smaller molecules by polymerization process. Okay, so we can classify these polymers into according to their molecular structure and according to their function they perform. Okay, into four main types. The first type is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. We are going to start with the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates are biological macromolecules. يعني خلاص اتفقنا انه anything of the four things دولت we will name them a biological macromolecules which consist of أكيد smaller units. Okay, these smaller units must have hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon. They include sugars, fibers, and starch, and their general formula is CH2O all by N, which means that in the C اللي هي الكربون atom is and the hydrogen atom and the oxygen atom present in the ratio 1 to 2 to 1. يعني if I have one carbon atom, I will have two hydrogen atoms and I will have one oxygen atom. If I have two carbon atom times 2 بقى two carbon atom يبقى 4 hydrogen atom and 2 oxygen atom and so on. Okay, the smallest carbohydrates and the most abundant carbohydrates we are going to talk about is the glucose molecule. The glucose molecule composed of 6 carbon atoms combined with 12 hydrogen atoms and 6 oxygen atoms. Its structure is a hexagonal shape, as you see, hexagonal shape, because it's formed of 6 carbon atoms and binding with hydrogen and oxygen in this way. Okay, what are the importance of carbohydrates? We knew that they are biological macromolecules formed of small molecules. The smaller units of the carbohydrates, or the building units of the carbohydrates, are the monosaccharides. Monosaccharides. Okay, so what are the importance of carbohydrates? Are carbohydrates important to us? Of course. Why? Because they are the main and the quickest source of energy in living organisms. When someone gets ill or sick and he goes to the hospital, the first thing they put to his hands, they will give him some glucose. Why? To give him energy. So glucose is a source of energy. Carbohydrates are the quickest source of energy. Okay, they are used in storing energy. Also, living organisms store their energy in the form of carbohydrates. Yani energy we eat, we get energy from the food and we store it in the form of carbohydrates, where plants store their carbohydrates in the form of starch, where animals and humans store their carbohydrates in the form of glycogen in both liver and muscles. Okay, so the glycogen is formed of glucose. So when I say how can I get the energy from the liver or from the muscle, I will say by hydrolysis of the breaking down of glycogen into glucose where يعني by getting the glucose molecules. Okay, so also carbohydrates are the basic components of some parts of cells. They are the basic components of some parts of the cells. They enter in the formation of some cells as cellulose. Cellulose diet is present in the cell walls of the plant, only in the cell wall of the plant, and also in the protoplasm and cellular membrane. Some carbohydrates are present in the protoplasm and the cellular membrane. Okay, okay. So these are the importance of carbohydrates. The molecular structure of carbohydrates divided according to their structure into simple sugars or complex sugar, either simple sugar or complex sugar. Simple sugar whose polymers consist only of one molecule, which is called monosaccharides, while that which consists of two molecules is called disaccharides. A simple sugar, either monosaccharides or disaccharides, which is the simplest form of the carbohydrates. Okay, the properties of the simple sugar, they are simple. So simple S, they are soluble. S, simple sugar soluble in water. Simple sugar have small molecular weights. Simple sugar have sweet taste. S, soluble, small, sweet. Okay, how can we detect them in our food? By using Benedict reagent. This Benedict reagent is its color is blue. Okay, when its color changes from blue to orange, this indicates that our food is formed of carbohydrates, of simple carbohydrates. Okay, okay. So monosaccharides, which are the simplest kind of sugars, whose polymer consists only of one molecule. The structure of the monosaccharides is formed of carbon atom. Each one of them is bound with an oxygen atom and carbon one in a certain way. And hydrogen one in a certain way. And this is a hydrogen, not carbon. Okay, so carbon atom, each one is bound with oxygen atom and hydrogen atom in a certain way. The number of carbon atoms in the monosaccharides ranges from 3 to 6 atoms, not more than 6. And take care from that, not more than 6. Okay, they are glucose, fructose, ribose, and galactose. Okay, glucose, fructose, ribose, and galactose. Glucose is present in the grapes, okay, and the fructose in the fruits we eat, apples, okay, a ribose present inside our nucleus, DNA, okay, okay. While the disaccharides دولت, they are two monosaccharides bound together. Monosaccharide plus monosaccharide plus monosaccharide will form polysaccharide. لكن monosaccharide plus monosaccharide will form a two saccharides. Okay. Examples بتاعهم sucrose, lactose, maltose. Sucrose, lactose, maltose. سلم. Sucrose is present in the sugar cane, which consists of glucose molecule bound with fructose molecule. Okay, while the lactose, which is the milk sugar, consists of glucose molecule bound with galactose 1. And the last one, maltose, consists of two glucose molecules. Here are their structure for illustration only. When we combine two monosaccharides, we make a minus by hydrolysis, by dehydration, sorry, minus water molecule. Yani we will get oxygen from molecule and hydrogen and oxygen from the other one. Okay, yani minus water molecule, minus H2O. Okay, one of them OH and the other H. هناخد H from molecule and OH from another molecule to form water molecule and to combine them together. Okay, okay. So monosaccharides are bound with bond called glycosidic bond. Bond that bounds monosaccharides named glycosidic bond, resulting in the production of water molecules. Okay, the monosaccharide play a role in energy transfer process inside the living organisms. Living organisms release the energy stored in the monosaccharides as glucose in as the following steps. Glucose is oxidized. First, the glucose is oxidized inside the mitochondria in the cell. So, where is the glucose present? It's present inside the mitochondria. Okay, and the mitochondria ديت هي الفactory of the energy. هي المصنع of the energy inside each cell. Okay, the glucose molecule is oxidized, and then the energy stored in the glucose molecule inside the bonds between the glucose molecule released in the form of chemical bonds. The chemical bonds are stored in a compound called adenosine triphosphate, ATP compound, which can transport to other parts of the cell easily to use the energy stored inside them. Okay, okay. Next type of the carbohydrates are the complex sugar, the polysaccharides. Complex sugars are carbohydrates which consist of a group of monosaccharides. Monosaccharide plus monosaccharide plus monosaccharide will form polysaccharide. Okay, complex sugars are also called polysaccharides. Okay, they bardo combine with glycosidic bond. Bardo each monosaccharide plus monosaccharide we will get minus water molecule. Common properties of the complex sugar, here is complex sugar, sorry. Okay, number one is they are insoluble in water. They have heavy molecular weights. They do not have any taste. Example, cellulose, starch, and glycogen. These are the examples of the polysaccharides, the complex sugar. The polymers of each one of the previous complex sugar consist of glucose molecules bound together. Glucose plus glucose plus glucose and so on will form cellulose or starch or glycogen. Okay, these are their structure. Glucose plus glucose plus glucose. Yani let's imagine it as blocks. Block of glucose plus blocks when we blocks that we play with. Block glucose plus glucose plus glucose will form starch molecule. And when it is more complicated, because will form the glycogen. Okay, and when they are arranged in stable form كده, they are cellulose molecules. Okay, they are present in the potatoes. A liver has the glycogen, an algae has the cellulose in the cell wall, and the in the inside the cover of the spiders and so on are formed of الكايتين اللي هو برضو also carbohydrates. Complex sugar can be detected by iodine solution. Starch mainly can be detected by iodine solution, where when we get iodine solution, which is brownish كده, yellow brown, and put it on anything that contains starch, it will give a blue color. Okay, so let's test yourself. Animals and humans store carbohydrates in liver, kidneys, muscles, or ANC. Of course, stores them in the liver and the muscles as glycogen. Okay? Glycogen here they store inside the liver and the muscles. Starch is from simple sugar, complex sugar, waxes, or steroids. Of course, starch is from the complex sugar. Which of the following is considered a disaccharide? عشان أحسبها disaccharide دوت never exceeds 12. ال C12 عمره ما هيزيد عن 12. ليه؟ Because the largest monosaccharide is C6. So 6 plus 6 equals 12. Okay, so I will focus about C12. Okay, and don't forget minus the water molecule. Dots are from the organic molecules from living organisms. Dots are mean carbohydrates or acids, bases, or salts, coarse carbohydrates. Dots are from the inorganic molecules. Salts, nucleic acids, carbohydrates, proteins, mean are from the inorganic, of course, the salts. Biological macromolecules or general formula is CH2O by N are called nucleic acids or carbohydrates or proteins or lipids, of course, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are stored in the plant in the form of starch or oil or glycogen or alcohols, of course, in the form of starch. Thank you guys. See you.